It's a new year in boxing with a new list of fights added to our wish list. Welcome into this edition of Making the Rounds on ESPN.com. I'm Brian Campbell. So what are the fights we most want to see in 2016? That's the question we asked our own Nigel Collins for a story running this week on the ESPN.com boxing page. Let's bring in the Hall of Famer himself. Nigel, Happy New Year to you. We're talking about fights that can realistically be made. So to top your list, why is Canelo Alvarez-Gennady Golovkin the best fight we may see in 2016?
Well, you know, when I was picking these fights, I always looked for fighters who come to fight and give a good show. And Canelo and Golovkin are perfect examples of that. There's no playing patty cake. There's no running around. These guys come to get it on. Now, the fact is, they're also two of the most popular fighters in the world. They are probably the two best middleweights in the world, so that situation will be settled. Alvarez is certainly the real middleweight champion, but a lot of people think Golovkin is better. So we'll find out what the truth is about that. And also, Canelo is the biggest pay-per-view star around today, along with Manny Pacquiao, who might not be around much longer. So I think there's going to create enough interest with these two guys that there's going to be enough money to pay them. And of course, they're not going to fight unless there's a big purse. So I think all the components for a great fight are in place for Canelo versus Triple G.
Certainly a lot of star power in that matchup, of course, Nigel. And there's one fight that made your list from the heavyweight division, and a good one. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I have to ask you, what kind of potential do you think there is in 2016 for maybe a little bit of a resurgence in the division?
I think there's a great opportunity with this fight to kickstart, perhaps not the greatest heavyweight fights of all time, but fun fights. And we haven't seen too many of those in the heavyweight division lately, especially at the championship level. The Klitschko brothers have dominated for a long time. Vladimir's had a great run at the top. He was upset by Fury, who fought an unusual but very good fight. He found a style to beat Klitschko. And I think Wilder is America's favorite. They want a new heavyweight that could be a big star. So I think we're going to see a lot of fun fights. I don't know if there's any Hall of Famers out there, but then we've got guys like Anthony Joshua and Luis Ortiz. So I think this year, if we can make the right matches, it'll be a lot more fun than the heavyweights division been in a long time.
Well, Nigel, there's one fight that could have the largest impact maybe from a pound-for-pound rankings on your list. Sergey Kovalev, Andre Ward in the light heavyweight division. If we see that fight, how strong of a case might the winner have for, let's say, being considered the best fighter in the world?
Well, of course, it's going to be difficult to dislodge Chocolatito Gonzalez, who has zoomed up the pound-for-pound ratings after his fight with Brian Valoria. He's a tremendous fighter, but certainly both Ward and Kovalev are in the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters. But I got to be honest, if he wasn't fighting Kovalev, I wouldn't have Andre Ward on the list. It takes a very special fighter to give Ward a good, entertaining, competitive fight. He's fought tough guys before, like Carl Froch, and he's come out on top fairly easily. But I think against Bernard Hopkins, Kovalev showed something that maybe we didn't know he had. He's got skills. He can box. So, and we already knew he was a tremendous punishing fighter. So if you put together Kovalev's dynamite punching and his boxing skills, it just could be the toughest fight that Andre Ward ever had. And yes, the winner could certainly be in contention for the #1 spot. In fact, it's kind of a good thing to have 4 or 5 guys competing for that. Besides those two, we've always got guys like Terence Crawford, Lomachenko. So I think there's going to be some movement in the pound-for-pound ratings this year.
Well, Nigel, here's to hoping your fight dreams become a reality in 2016. Thanks for joining us. And for all the latest news and analysis around the world of boxing, keep it tuned to the boxing page on ESPN.com. I'm Brian Campbell. Thanks for watching.